You call yourselves the military arm of Remain. Well, the way you just responded to that suggests that's a phrase that's going to haunt you.
I think it was a slip of the tongue. I think what we want to say is that we're a political wing of some of these anti-Brexit campaigns at the moment. We're the only credible new party out there that actually stands on a platform of Rethink Brexit, Renew Britain. So basically, we want to rethink the whole Brexit situation. We want to encourage people to express their doubts now that they know more information, and actually let's renew our country at the sort of from the ground up, really.
I think the Liberal Democrats might think they're standing on that platform as well.
Well, we certainly share the pro-European position with the Liberal Democrats and some policies, but not all of them. And they have failed to make an impact in the last election. They just haven't won the confidence of voters. And we think the idea of something new that will help us sort of take stock of where we are, go back to the people, find out what it is that's actually broken in Britain at the moment and why politicians have lost touch with people, that's the best way to then sort of start and set a new agenda.
If you say that the Liberal Democrats haven't managed to make an impact with this, isn't that a sign that actually whatever people feel about Brexit and whether they voted Remain or Leave, those opinions haven't really changed very much, but there isn't an enthusiasm for voting for a party which is trying to stop it. What there is enthusiasm for is trying to make the best of it if you're a Leaver, if you're a reluctant Remainer, and not actually try and overturn it.
Well, I think the government propagated a myth after June 23rd during the referendum that it was a closed door, there was no going back, it was a done deal. And I think that's impacted people's opinions. They felt that there was no chance to change their minds. But actually, we're trying to open the door now and say that we can withdraw Article 50. The Europeans have said so too. And we are hearing from a lot of Brexit voters that they're angry that they had to make that decision based on little information. That's more available now. We're seeing the impact and the alternatives. We're already seeing some negative damage, and we're seeing the government botching negotiations.
This was a massive campaign. There was a huge amount of information out there. You know, you might say that that was misinformation. There was misinformation, as we keep hearing, on both sides. But the fact of the matter, this is the biggest democratic exercise and vote that the country's ever seen. And it might not have gone your way, but it was a referendum which people were told the government would implement what they decided, and the majority decided they wanted to leave. There just is not the appetite for now trying to overturn that. Wouldn't your energies, if you want something good to come out of this, wouldn't it be better to put your energy and funding into making a better deal?
But what is that better deal? I mean, one day we're in the single market customs union, the next day we're out. The government is trying this sort of project fantasy, really. They're not realistic in their aims. The government could have taken a very consensus approach and actually brought together Scotland, Northern Ireland, the other political parties, and actually stood for the 48% as well as the 52%. But they haven't. They've railroaded us. And this campaign was very short, actually. You have to understand, people didn't know much about the European Union, and there'd been a lot of misinformation and lack of information over the years. You really want to...
don't really know what Brexit's going to look like either, are we?
Absolutely.
So unpicking it. And
so why are we doing this?
And what about you? Because people have got to get to know you, haven't they, before they start thinking. So you've worked in all sorts of conflict zones, and you've actually said that you think Brexit is the new conflict zone. I think people might be... You say that now, you see, that's twice you said something, the military wing, and that you now regret. This is going to have to be a new world for you as leader of a party, isn't it? Being very careful what you say. Because people have immediately made a judgment on that. And I think people are in the mood for things not to be a conflict. They're in the mood for unity. They're in a mood for us to move forward. You know, we've got this, whether people voted for it or against it. So why say it's a conflict zone?
I actually meant a country in distress, and I do feel that our country is in distress right now. You know, there's great division, there's great polarisation, and we're going in the wrong direction, and this is going to continue for years to come. I mean, we really are committed to bringing back together the whole country.
But from your perspective, from what you want?
Well, actually, what we are hearing from Brexit voters, and some polls show that simple majority is now the other way. And in which case, where is the mandate to leave? That's sort of frizzled
well,
there.
the polls did show before the referendum that it was Remain as well, and it turned out
the mandate
not
to leave came with the referendum result. Let's just have a look at the launch of the party yesterday. You know, it's not great visuals, is it? You know, I mean, where's the appetite? you couldn't even get enough people to fill the seats at the launch.
Well, we hired a very big room. We could have hired a small room and have people spilling out.
Well,
the
that
doors,
will be the second thing to learn. Be careful what you say. Hire a smaller room.
I'll take the advice. But the truth is,
Politics 101.
we really mean the best for the country. We were actually genuinely concerned about where we're going. The economic growth is down. The promises are not being fulfilled. The NHS will have less money for funding in the future.
And where is the money coming from for the Renew Party?
We have small donations at the moment. We have various sort of candidate donations, small donors, crowdfunding.
It's not one of the George Soros funded enterprises, as was asked a little bit earlier on the programme.
I mean, we'd welcome a large donation from someone who's seriously and genuinely interested in fixing country.
Would you go and talk to him about that?
We could do. We haven't really thought about that at the moment, but we believe our premise and our proposition is really compelling for people.
Isn't it ironic? Isn't there a sort of irony at the heart of all of this? Is that you're setting up a political party to be part of the democratic process, and yet you're fundamentally opposed to the biggest democratic decision the country's made?
Well, that's because I'm looking at what people are actually saying, and when I see that some polls are swinging in the other direction, it makes me think that they're not so sure about what they voted. We really needed a much bigger consensus to go through with something so painful and monumental as this decision. And people didn't know how involved we were in so many different areas, how much cooperation there was.
Yeah, the trouble is that the message you're saying is vote for us, but your vote actually, when you do use it, doesn't really mean anything.
No, that's not what we're saying at all. We're saying we're listening to people, and we want to go around the country now and listen to Britain and actually talk to people about what their real grievances are.
So if you find you go to a room and the seats are nearly half empty, will you take that as a voice said that, that you overestimated the support?
Well, we keep going. We're a new party, we have to... But we are seeing snowballing support coming in. We've got hundreds of mails every day, and we've had 450 candidate applications for Parliament.